Welcome back. Andy Kai on to pitch. Final line for Reddick. 1 inning pitch, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, all with the home run. 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and 20 total pitches. Braves have now taken the lead. It's 5-3 in the top of the 6th.
Well, let's look at Andy Kai so far this season. A 5.87 ERA and 7.2 innings of work. 11 hits. Equates to 7 runs, only 5 of them earned. 4 walks and 8 Ks. A 324 batting average again. So Andy Kai still early in the season, but sort of an average performance so far is what we've seen of him. Obviously it's not bad. He's not having a bad year, but obviously there's room to grow if you're Andy Kai.
Yeah, the home run last time.
Yeah, and that's definitely something he'll look to do as we keep moving through this season, is become one of the top arms on the Mohawks, especially out of the bullpen. So
absolutely. I know I bring them up so much. Obviously, I can't go a game without talking about the New York Mets, as that ball's grounded to Harriel. Really nice stop, throw to first in time. 1 out, as Luis Rodriguez with a tough out right there. But I know you obviously don't watch the Mets as consistently as I do, but it's so eerie similar how the Mohawks and the Mets are playing right now. Both were dominant in the start, and now all of a sudden it's the way it's happening, where the Mohawks will go up by 3 early in the game, or they'll keep it close early in the game like the Mets, and then by the end of the game, it just gets blown open, just like the last home game. Just like this game right now. I'm not saying it's blown open, but, this game was so close. It was 3-2, and then all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, it's a 6-2 game, and the Mets, they were up 3-0 this game, and Braves have scored 5 straight. So it just seems very similar. Both teams are kind of slumping right now.
yeah, and it's weird to say the Mohawks are slumping and that they're playing 500 ball.
Yeah,
They're
but
still
for
first in the East
their
Division.
standards, they're
But,
slumping.
Yeah, by their standard, this isn't where the Mohawks wanted to be at, especially after such an impressive start.
Yeah. And you don't want to lose to teams. You don't want to lose to bad teams, but you don't want to lose to your rivals either.
Yeah, and especially after that last game, obviously left a bitter taste in the mouths of the Mohawks. You lose in such a crushing way, and you get another chance out of here, and the bats, they're swinging well. It's just you haven't had that big inning yet where you're able to string together a bunch of hits and you're able to really take advantage of a few mistakes on the other end. And credit to Saugerties, they played a really good, clean game, and when they've needed to make plays, they've made plays, and they've worked their way out of innings. And the time is running out for the Mohawks. We'll see if they can make something work in these final 2 innings of work and try and make this another thrilling comeback victory.
Absolutely. Cowan, then Long, then Schwartz. Obviously, they have to get through this top half of the 8th first. Here's the payoff pitch from Kai. Outside ball 4, and that'll put Cameron Carroll at first with 1 out. So now it'll be Reese Maroney, the shortstop. And he's 2 for 3 tonight. Struck out his last time up.
One thing I will note is, and I've noted it earlier, is the Mohawks have been forcing the Stallions to put balls in play. You haven't been giving up a bunch of free passes, and you haven't been walking a lot of guys. But credit to the Stallions, they've been hitting the ball really well. They've been going to all parts of the field, and 12 hits so far in this one. And we talked about how 3 of those runs came in the first when they stringed together 5 hits in a row. So they've really hit the ball well, and that carries over from the momentum last time they were here.
And you got to remember, you're going to see this team tomorrow too.
Yeah. And tomorrow's going to be a big one because if the Stallions hold on, they're only a game and a half back.
Yeah. Where
if the Mohawks find a way to come back here, you can really open up some space if you're 3.5 up with an opportunity to go 4.5 up. So chances for both teams. You gotta. It gets late quick. It's not a super long season like you see in the MLB. So
Grounded to third. Harriel had a tough time handling it. Throws to first in time, so he can't turn two, but he gets the out at first. Really good play from Harriel. That ball was hit really hard by Maroney, and now it'll be Hobbensiefken.
And the smart decision by Harriel there. He doesn't force the throw to second base after the bobble. He picks it up, makes a strong throw to first for out 2 in the inning. But yeah, as I was saying, it gets late early, and it's important to build up that ground because, especially for the Mohawks, you might finish the season, and with how many games you've played compared to other teams, there might be teams finishing up games, and the last thing you want to be doing is having other teams control your fate. You want to hopefully have enough ground where you can go into those final days of the season knowing that you've clinched the top spot.
Absolutely agree with you, and it's a 6-2 game. It seems so far out of reach, and well, it really isn't. You can get 2 runs here in the bottom of the 8th if you hold him here, and then you get 2 runs in the 9th, or you can even all do in one shot, 3 and 1, or any bit more, any bit less. But it just seems like it's just a different vibe. Now, it's the Mohawks. You expected them to come back earlier in the season. Doesn't seem like it happens as much as we get into the middle portion of June here, June 24th, as we open up July very soon.
Yeah, everything kind of felt storybook. Any way they could, they would come back and win. But
the fact of
you
the
realize
matter
that's not
is,
sustainable.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is, it's only a 4-run game. That's a ball game. If it was 4-0, it would look better than 6-2, just because the number 6 on the board, it just looks so different. If it was 4-0, you say, oh, 4-0, that's comebackable. And it is. They just have to, in my opinion, hitting for the next person up, which they always usually do, but really here they need to lock in on hitting for the person behind you. Set the next person up. Pass the baton. 2-1. Popped up. Playable for touchstone. Schwartz is sprinting in, and it just goes foul.
But yeah, one thing
run a long way.
I'll note is from playing myself is when you get down and it's so muggy and humid out, it's really easy to lose energy. So that's something the Mohawks have to find here. If they want any chance of coming back, they're going to have to gain that energy back and kind of will their team to victory. And it is possible. It's a 4-run game. That a grand slam's worth 4 runs. So you're a couple base runners and a blast away from tying this thing up, and you have 6 outs to work with, so definitely not out of reach if you're the Mohawks, but yeah, you got to gain that energy back first and foremost.
Hey, you also have 6 hits in 7 innings, which is very good. Obviously, they'd want it to be more, but it goes without saying, that's pretty solid. If you come in with 6 hits in 7 innings, it's a pretty good number. It's just compared to the Saugerties, who have 12. That swung on and missed strike 3, so Andy Kai able to get out of that runner in scoring position. And now it'll be Will Cowan, Jake Long, and Schwartz trying to get this comeback for the Mohawks on ABN. Welcome back on ABN. Andy Kai still on to pitch here. We're here in the top of the 9th. The Mohawks trail 6-2. Hits are 12-7 in favor of the Saugerties Stallions. They play them again tomorrow for this back-to-back. They're in Saugerties. We will be there as well, bringing you coverage and the broadcast, me and Harry. That'll be free on YouTube. Amsterdam Mohawks, search it up on YouTube. Link will be created at some point tomorrow before the game.
And speaking to that point I made last inning, our count is 9 runners left on base for the Mohawks.
That one's popped up. Shallow center. Filippi there. Schwartz there. Schwartz makes the catch. 1 out. 1 pitch, 1 out for Andy Kai.
So obviously not ideal, that's 9 opportunities to score runs, and
Yep, and it goes back to that bases loaded in the first inning, only 1 run able to score.
Yeah, you had a real opportunity if you were the Mohawks there to tie that game up, even take the lead with the bases loaded and 2 outs. But yeah, unable to break it open there, and then the Stallions just make some stellar plays in the field, and that's the difference so far here in this one.
Here's Paso, 3 for 4 today. Scorching hot.
There always seems to be a high offensive player on both teams every time they face off. Today it's Paso and Long. You had Rodriguez and Touchstone last time.
Yep. That's a called strike. So for the Amsterdam Mohawks in the bottom of the 9th, they're going to have pending any changes, Perez, and there's no other catchers on the bench that I know of besides bullpen catchers. So Perez, Harriel, then Walker, and then Young, if it gets to him. So Harriel, we'll see if he stays in. He only has one at-bat so far, struck out in 3 pitches, as he was placed to replace Jemison, the third baseman. And then Walker, the EH, you can go either way with that. So you can keep him in. He has an 0 for 3 right now, or you can put in someone else without fearing any positional change. That's a wave and a miss from Andy Kai, strike 3. An
Andy
ugly
Kai.
swing there.
Yeah, I'll say that this guy, he's so good at getting those ugly swings, especially for strikeouts. That breaking ball just goes so far away from the lefty, and he's caught chasing on the ball that was probably a foot out of the zone and almost bounced. So Andy Kai, it just looks like it's going to hit the zone until the last second when it breaks away, and another excellent pitch from him there.
Here's Jamie Z, who hit the home run his last time up.
And then he's so masterful with also his ability to then get a breaking ball to paint the outside corner like he just did there. It makes hitters have to broaden their hit selection. So, well, the pitches they're swinging at. So when you make that zone bigger, then they're able to work even more outside, and that's how we see Andy Kai go about his business.
That one's fouled back. Here's a look at the home run last time up. Scorched it over the left field wall. Jamie Z got all over this 3-2 pitch.
Yeah, and that one really broke this one open. It was the Mohawks that got it to a one-run game, and then Z just helps add a lot of cushioning to that Stallions lead and really take the energy out of the Mohawks and the fans here tonight. And like we said, still an opportunity. You know, you got 3 outs, and the offense is known for producing that big inning, and we'll see if the Mohawks can scratch it across in the bottom of the 9th for a comeback win.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Andy Kai, 1-2-3 inning for him. Back-to-back strikeouts for him. And now the Mohawks need 4 runs to come back and 5 to win it. No hits, no runs, nobody left on base. Still no errors in the game for either side. The Mohawks look to come back on ABN.